I've been building, exploring, and setting up farms in my forever world for nearly 500 days now, which means I'm already halfway through the milestones I set up back when I started this world. But this is a forever world. It doesn't end when I hit day 1000 and unlock the end. That's not the end of the world, but merely just the introduction. So today I want to start figuring out what lies beyond the 1000 days and what my forever plans for this world actually look like. One of my long-term goals is to create civilizations across the world, each in a different biome, all connected, as a way to switch up my building style, keep things fresh, and make sure I don't burn out. So for the lore of my world, I want to start on an ancient hall, a place where all of these civilizations can come together. And well, I got a bit carried away working all of this out in a creative world. But building the entire mountain is a future project because I'm still not on day 5000 in this world, which means I don't have easy access to mending. Not to mention this is my current XP farm. Anyhow, that's things to improve for the future. For now, I've ran and grabbed a couple of chests so that we can start chopping down a couple of trees on the already existing mountain to make space for the start of the new one. Snaking a little clearing up to where I want to create the entrance to the Hall of Famio. Okay, I can't just not start the mountain at all today. That's the entrance into this hall would look extremely weird, just sort of half floating, half not on the side of this non-terraformed mountain. So spending a bit of time clearing away a good few more trees across the lower sloping parts. And even though I probably didn't have to clear all of those since the mountain will sit above the original terrain, restocking on wood never hurts. We've still got a bit of digging to do to clear space for the first part of this project, but first I'd like to get some materials to build with. And first on that list is actually wood. Might sound a little weird since we're building a mountain, but I like to use the side of acacia logs as it has a very nice gray color. Something new I want to try as well is incorporating pale oak, which I'm also out of. Quick break from those types while waiting for the saplings to fall to the ground, where I've literally got 0 spruce logs in the storage, so might as well be productive and get a few. Then back to acacia and pale oak we go. I need a considerable amount more acacia than pale oak, and a process made even longer since the trees grow sort of awkwardly and only have a couple of logs compared to the uniform pale oak trees with nearly a stack per. Having dropped that off and done some crafting, let's switch things up as I need a ton of stone, and I'm currently mainly using a fortune pickaxe as it's what has mending, so I need to smelt some cobblestone down into regular stone. With that cooking, I definitely need to restock some stones, so down into the mine we go. Or well, one stone actually, as I've got all the overworld rocks in storage already, except andesite, which I need to restock. The one blob I was mining wasn't even enough, so had to head further into the mine and mine a second one. Sent that up to the surface, and I also want to run around and grab some of the gravel patches throughout the cave walls. Shovel running low now in durability and unfortunately doesn't have mending, but I am running past my current XP farm, so I might as well repair the mending pickaxe and get up to level 30. Conveniently, that also leads me up to the enchanting table because, well, I need a new shovel. And I want to have a lot of shovels in the future, and that's only efficiency 3. Right, there we go, much better. And we can even combine that to get ourselves another max one. And then this one can eventually be repaired with mending once we get that. Back home, I've almost got all our blocks together, but still need a few. Palemos is another great block with a very nice gray color, which will work great for a mountain and definitely a resource I'll have to automate before we build the majority of it. A resource I've already automated is light gray wool, which would have been a pain to gather the 5 stacks manually, and that's only for the small section I want to build today. I might have to add another light gray wool sheep into the farm, but the resources are coming together pretty nicely here. Just a few more to go, where I know from past mountains and terrain I built that if I don't do any foliage right away, it's probably not happening, so he's stuck in on bushes. Then the final thing now, and I've hopped into the Nether for it, as I want to use a few basalt blocks for the darkest parts of the mountain, as well as some polish for the entrance into the hall. Moving the resources over here, and as eager as I am to start building the mountain itself, we should probably do the sensible thing and start to figure out where we actually want to build the entrance to this Hall of Fame. Where we can start by creating a crossroads where I place my chests to start the path leading up the mountain. where I'm going to follow the footprint here of the original terrain, where we have this little valley coming up. Something we could snake the path up from that through here, probably just a little elevated, where for the actual hall, we're gonna have to do a lot of digging, but I'm thinking this here as the entrance might be the perfect spot. And I want this to be something very, very grand, where we can go a tough polished, then we'll do 2 of those, a regular tough, 2 brick, and another polished to create the base of some steps leading up to the entrance itself with a point to work towards. I need to just clear away a little bit of the existing terrain to make sure we can bring in a gentle sloping path up to the stairs, which will snake a bit as it climbs up the base of the future mountain and reaches the entrance of Hall of Fame. That will hold a lot of cool things. We'll get into it a little later when we start on the interior, but one thing I'm really excited about is a giant world map. Just I hope it doesn't lag too much. But we got this path now stretching up the already existing mountain up to where I want to create this entrance. And I think we're gonna have to clear some blocks, but before we do that, let's just figure out how big we want to make the staircase. Where I think that's gonna pretty good. So let's replicate it over here to just get a full picture of it, where that's definitely gonna feel grand. Let's get some stairs out and fill the rest of this in. Throwing in just a little bit of design there to make it a little interesting. And then we'll throw in the door behind here. But I do think we're going to have to do a little bit of digging first here. We're going to have to do a lot of digging for the rest of the hall, but I think this should be enough for us now to at least start bringing this in. Where the first thing I'm going to do is bring out some polished tuff, and from here start to create a little arch for ourselves. It's going to come up and create a space for a giant door. For the door itself, I found this build by B-Dubs that he built on Hermitcraft a few seasons back, and I just fell in love with the door. So I'm copying some elements such as using polished basalt to split the door into 2 and add a bit of structure. For the door itself, I would use the top of deep slate, but worry that it will be a bit all samey, so creating a grid texture with cobbled deep slate, break it up, and throwing in some tuff to create some further details. With the size I'm going for this, you can see why I opted for making the custom mountain as well, and I can't wait to build that, but that is a future project. For now, I just want to add in a few buttons here just to add that little bit of extra details, as it is a very boring door. And actually, it's not really a door, is it? I did just think about, I have no idea how we're actually gonna... I've been so used with building with the create mod that I thought I could probably just open it. I don't really know. We might have to make some redstone mechanism to like open a 3x3 down here or something, but we'll get back to that. For now, I want to create a bit more structure for the entrance and create a wall and second arch that I want to look like it's been carved out of the mountain, adding in some black concrete as windows on either side to make it look a little eerie. I'm also making a very uneven top, as this is the section that I want to transition back into the mountain, which with the slight overhang stretching out, we have the mountain coming up on either side of this. I think that's gonna look really, really good and work really well for us. And speaking of mountain, we're probably not gonna get that far up, but I do really, really want to start building it, and I have the blocks. And let's be honest, I don't really want to have to gather blocks for an interior, or well, dig out the area that I need to actually make that interior. So let's get started by grabbing a bunch of our grass and dirt. Looking back at the previous mountains and custom terrain I've done, I've always had a bit of a hard time in the transitions between, and I think that's going to become a challenge here too. But I want to start gradually sloping grass up more and more to prepare for the stones parts. And this is a good start here, but turning on some mini HUD rendering, I definitely want to be on my A game and light up underneath, because the earlier I do this, the easier it's going to get later, when I don't have to run around down here and there's a ton of mobs. Now it's just rinse and repeat on the opposite side of the path to start the mountain there as well. Preparing for a bit of a larger peak, where I'm definitely starting to understand the size of this mountain, considering this is just a small peak. Ran out of dirt, so underneath just lighting the place up, I'm going to want to come back and replace all of these torches with a block-like frog lights, as they cause way less lag than torches. Out of torches now too, so running back home. And since I'm pretty much all out of the grass now, using that to first outline the grassy areas, so that when I switch over to our dirt, that should grow into grass a little faster. It looks a little weird at the moment with only having gone through and created the dirty areas of the mountain, so let's begin to fix that by building up the smaller of the two supporting peaks I want to build today. The more I get into this small patch, the more I want to just throw myself at the rest of the mountain, especially since it's pretty much all designed. And since I designed most of my builds beforehand in a creative copy, I use a mod called Lighmatica to help me bring them to life in my survival world. I've just found that I enjoy figuring builds out in creative, while at the same time I really enjoy the grind of survival. As I work on the second larger peak, I'm realizing I really need to get feather falling, because if I were to fall, it would pretty much be a certain death, considering at the moment I can only survive about 20 to 30 blocks. Or if I stream, and I'm not gonna have anyone else do that either, we're dead. Not sure how I survived that, but wrapped up the top, and what I've done with this mountain is created 4 groups of blocks with the difference between them being how light the blocks are, using these then to give the mountain more shape with artificial shadows and highlights. But do you know what would make it even better? A brand new custom tree at the bottom. A mix between my oak and azalea trees I've been building recently. I also get asked a lot whether I'll put trees on top of mountains, and I tend not to, since it really messes with the sense of scale, and if you like hearing the why behind these choices, you might enjoy subscribing. Oh, how I love custom trees along paths, but I've been putting off for long enough now. I need to go dig. But first, I actually need to spend a bit of time in the Nether, because I've got a lot of blocks to clear, and I definitely need a beacon if I don't want to be mining till this episode is supposed to come out. So let's run around and try my luck in the Nether fortress. Once you clear this one out, it might be alright, but it's not massive either. So probably not ideal. Oh, we got our first skull though. Wasn't even recording. I've traveled over to a brand new fortress, as the last one wasn't really spawning anything, but these things are so annoying. I guess I should really go back and get fire resistance, shouldn't I? Because we do actually have nether wart and magmacrete now, so let's plug a brewing stand down in the kitchen and brew up a few fire resistance potions, which definitely helped and made the hunting of wither skeletons way easier. In the overworld with my 3 skulls and grab some golden apples and soul sand, where I can't cheese the first wither, can I? So let's go somewhere where it can't destroy my builds, such as the desert. Oh wait, I forgot to fill the buckets with milk. Cows, where are you? Oh, finally. Where were they so elusive? Okay, well, best of luck to me. I think I'm gonna prop one of these. No, I'm gonna pop them to heal. I only have power 3 as well. Oh boy. Ooh. I feel like I gotta take some hits to actually do any damage. How do you fight one of these? I think I need to like try to hit him with the sword. Nope, that's not gonna work. I might have made a mistake. I'm gonna die just because of like Wither 2. I can't even heal because I'm okay, well I gotta heal off at least. But that's like my one and only heal. I think we gotta go underground or something. I'm going down. Hi mobs. I'd rather hug creepers than this thing. Do I not know how to kill a wither, apparently? This is what we need. Okay, this is sort of cheesing it, sort of not cheesing it. Oh yeah, we need to get full charges on him. That's what I wasn't doing earlier. Oh no. Oh no. That's really bad. Oh no. Milk. I don't know how much HP I have. Oh, I have full HP. That was so hard. That was really hard. Glad I put Rumble so far away because the skulls went flying everywhere. Let's get back home now. Grab some obsidian, glass, and after 2 hours of work, finally craft our very first beacon of this forever world. Oh, this is going to be a real game changer. Just need to grab a few stacks of iron blocks over from the iron farm for the beacon base, which we can build up over on the side of the mountain. And power up with haste too. which we won't fully utilize right away, as I first need to chop down all the trees covering the hillside where I want to dig. And then to not constantly have to switch tools back and forth, clear away the dirt layers to reveal all of the stone I'm going to mine that lays below. Since I'm fairly limited on tool durability at the moment, not clearing away much more than the space I need for the hall. Started clearing a bit of stone, but inventory is very full, and we've barely even started uncovering the door. Empty the inventory, and my pickaxe still has a bit of durability left, so let's at least uncover a bit more of that door. Well, that's about all that my pickaxe can muster for now. So let's go and repair it and probably make a new one, because we are close to day 500 and it wouldn't hurt to instantly be able to put mending on a couple of max enchanted tools. Which does mean I need to both repair my mending pickaxe and get myself up to level 30. Up at the enchanting table, let's first enchant a pickaxe, which efficiency 4, okay, I can work with that. Let's see, oh no, not fortune 3, that's where we can re-roll. Okay, back up to level 30, yep, that definitely works. Now we can combine some of these pickaxes I have together, and we end up with 3 efficiency 5 on breaking 3 pickaxes, including the one I already have. With more than one pickaxe, hopefully I can get through the rest of this project without having to repair any of them, breaking down the few remaining layers to fully uncover the door and space for the main portion of the hall. Then this might be me just adding extra workload, but I'd love some glass fog effect force, so I need to dig down about another 24 blocks from this to fit some details and then the actual fog effect. And realizing this is far too small of an area for my floor plan, so expanding and tripling the area I need to clear. Still not the entire section that I have to dig out, but it's pretty close. Another hour and a bit of digging, the door is now fully exposed, and I've started clearing out this space here for a little fog effect that I want to bring in through this hall. But all 3 of my pickaxes are now severely broken, so I need to go and repair them. And while I can only really repair one of them, repair the mending pickaxe, and instead of enchanting a new one, I was thinking we just do that. 4 diamonds, and we got another repaired one, and we can just throw this into the storage. Now back over we go to hopefully complete this dig up, and we've only got a little bit left to go. Gonna use the silk touch pickaxe first, just to stock up on even more stone, since I never really have that, considering I've been mainly using the fortune pickaxe. But working on the final little bit now, down to the bottom of the fog effect. And that should hopefully be enough space, as I mined about 69,000 blocks now in this world, and the good amount of blocks that we mine now is made so much easier about that beacon. Oh, it's gonna be so nice to have for future builds, and so nice right now, as I just want to do a little bit more digging. I promise this is the final digging, at least for now. That should finally be enough space. Now we just gotta get together some blocks for this hall. And I've just gone through and just checked the chests that we have here. And it's not too much, but it's a few things. And I need to bring some things back to base. And I should be able to get these blocks pretty quickly, hopefully. And first of all, just look through my chests to figure out what we already have. Which definitely isn't everything, but it's a start, and I've got some copper bits that I want to oxidize, replacing the already oxidized blocks outside of my starter base. Heading off, I want to put to use some of the farms I recently built, riding over to the fishing village, where I built a spider farm from a spider spawner, as I need to restock on a bit of string. On our way back, stopping off at the iron mine, as I need both iron for some blocks, and I want to get a second spot for a beacon. Not gonna get a second beacon, just a spot. And ooh, and wait. Oh, I died, and that resets the ender pearls. That's why I have no iron. Having dropped that off, running over to the honey farm to grab some combs and restock on bottles, as I need honey blocks. While over this way, also running into the wool farm to grab up some purple wool and more light gray wool, which has run out, so we'll probably be back here a little later. And as I run over into the woods here to go to my coordinates, I've just hit day 500 in this world. Oh my god, we're halfway to an elytra already. And well, day 500 means that technically we are allowed to get mending books now. Oh, that's really, really exciting actually. But I am going to wait because it's me and I want to get a proper build in. So we're going to have to do that in the next episode because I am way too busy with this one. No beans! No! No beans! No, man. Oh. R.I.P. beans. Oh. Well, reminder to me to not put lightning rods next to your animals. Speaking of which, guys, I think it's time to come inside. I think you've always been struck by lightning one too many times. Right, I probably asked for names for these at some point, but if you do have any names for these two dogs in my house, leave them down below. And oh man, I'm so sad about beans. Trying to get past this loss, I'm getting a beacon set up in the cave where eventually we'll have a permanent one, but for now I'll probably just leave the base and grab the beacon itself if needed elsewhere. Setting it up down here while gathering blocks in the mines will be extremely worth it though. Into the mining Tuff is both extremely satisfying and also makes it worth to stock up extra, clearing away what I think is about 5 to 6 Tuff blobs interconnected, sending up over a double chest's worth of Tuff. Another thing that the haste makes easier is of course deep state. It's still not insta mining like Tuff, but it's definitely faster to fill your inventory with deep state, which is what I need to do right now. Maybe someday in the future we'll actually have insta mineable deep state. I feel like all I've done today is dig, and well, I used up a lot of the stuff that I just gathered, so we're gonna have to restock soon again, but our resources are starting to come together at least. Now I need to go on a little side mission here, so I've got a few blocks together as I need to build a slime farm, because we need a piston door really to enter the Hall of Fame. And I've actually got a nether portal set up pretty close to a swamp biome, just got to get through this flower forest. Drop off the first haul of resources for the farm. Back in the Nether, I still need a few resources, starting with a bunch of mushrooms, because if you didn't know, they emit a light level of 1, which means it stops all mobs except slime, which can still spawn. Although this won't really work, as it's gonna take absolutely ages, so let's run up to the castle, head down to the XP farm to get up to level 30, over to the castle tower, and enchant a new axe with Fortune 3. And well, it apparently won't even give me more mushrooms having fortune, so that was a big old waste of time. At least I have an Unbreaking 3 axe to cut down the mushroom trees, so I won't break it as fast. With that, gather just one more resource I need, which is some powdered snow for the killing chamber of the farm. Now just got to get over there, running through the Nether and over to the swamp. Where to get this farm started, I want to right away install a crafter to turn our slime balls into blocks, so that I don't have to worry about the storage filling and still not have to make a massive one. Moving up from this to start the farm itself, creating the kill chamber out of stone with water funneling the slime into the center with a soul campfire, using the powdered snow above to get rid of the larger slimes. Onto this spawning area itself, it's a super simple square with some slabs on the outside for some reason. I think it has to do with pack spawning, but I'm not sure. The design itself is originally created by Mango, so I'm sure there is a reason for them, but I don't know. It's just finishing up the last feature with our 10 stacks of brown mushroom covering the platform. Then an AFK point high up in the sky to avoid having to light up the caves. And the farm works, just got to stand here for a few minutes to get the slime we'll need. I was up there for a little bit of time, but I was not expecting this many. Oh, that's amazing. Right, let's just bring all of that home, and we shouldn't have to come back here for a while. Back home, we'll still need a couple of things. First off, some more acacia and pale oak to extend the mountains a bit more around the entrance to the hall. And the further up I get the mountain, I want to replace the grass with snow. Trapping a little snow golem in a hole to gather some snowballs to craft a couple of snow blocks to start the snow layers of the mountain with. And it's looking pretty good here now. I have a few more things that I need, and I am unfortunately out of food pretty much. I have the stack of steak, so I've got to head into the Nether once more and grab the food on our way back. I also need to find a warp forest. I'm pretty sure I've seen one over this way. Yep, right over there. Right. Oh, I don't like the Nether. Oh, right. Just gotta get over this now. Maybe we go high. Oh, well, we're in the right biome. Oh, just gotta get over there. Perfect. And oh, please. Well, guess I gotta run back over here whenever I need more warp wood. Luckily, I don't need that much today. Hopefully, I won't have to wait around here. Yeah, I will. And this should keep me going at least for a little while longer. Final resource to gather now, and I'm off towards the desert, as I need a load of sand smelt into glass that I can use to create the glass fog effect. Take my nearly full durability shovel and using all of its durability. which was just enough sand, and I'm gonna have to make 2 or 3 trips to bring all of this home. Right, come on, Rumble, let's go. Moved all of our resources over here, got all of the sand smelted into glass and painted, and we got so much more. That turned out to a lot longer material gathering and farm building than I anticipated. Anyways, we're gonna start by tearing down our door, because when I built this, I didn't quite realize that I obviously needed a way to enter, so I need to just clear away space to make ourselves a proper entrance. Unfortunately, I can't really build said entrance yet because I don't have enough honey blocks. I need 80 honey blocks and I have like 30, so we're just gonna have to put this away for now and we'll come back to it. For now, what I think we'll start with is grabbing our lanterns and carpets. Starting off at the bottom of the pit, I realized I've dug a bit too deep, so need to create a platform for myself that I can fill completely with lanterns to create the light source at the bottom of our fog effect. On top of this are purple carpets to create a flat space to work up from. On the sides, starting to create some supporting structures out of bricks and polished deep slates. From where I haven't put carpets in the center, some supporting bridge legs that will hold up the future walkway. And I wasn't gonna build in the walkway and everything and then get the fog effect in there, but I realized it would be a lot easier if I actually had something to stand on. For the first layers of glass, using our purple as some darker tones towards the bottom, filling in layer by layer before switching it up to magenta to complete the final 3 layers. Which that just looks really tasty. I just want to have a little... Anyways, let's go ahead and grab some polished tuff. Grab some bricks. We're starting off at the middle. We go from our deep slate tuff here that covers the bottom layers, just to make it look a little darker down there, into our tuff, where we're going to start going up and creating some arches. Then I want to have an inner one of these as well, where we can use some tough bricks, stretching across the entire way this time, back down over on this side. Following that pattern there down and into the wall. On top of this here, why don't we bring in a bit of chiseled tough brick, and then we can use some polished tough slabs, continuing that off and into what will be the edge of the platform over here. We'll get that sorted, but for now I just want to continue adding in these arches to get the base of our walkway sorted out. Some edges extending along with that on either end for the moment, and we have these glowstone bits here that should give some light from underneath the bridge eventually, but I don't think they're gonna quite reach, so we also need to add some lights above. Oh, and I almost just fell to the bottom because that's open all the way down, and I need to go through and light them up. Then we'll just cover the inside here with even more chiseled tough bricks, not the actual regular one, because we're not really gonna see this block all that much, but I think it's gonna look good from the side. Not that we're ever really gonna be down at the fog effect and see that, but it adds a nice base at least. We'll get back to why we won't see it all that much, but before that, let me start adding in some blast furnaces. Yep, I made a ton of blast furnaces, over 2 stacks in fact. Would like to use for the little main pathway coming through, and I want to do a pattern where we use smithing tables and our blast furnaces. And then since I need to make a actual redstone door here, we're gonna have to double the door up and build one on the inside as well. So I think we're gonna stop the floor around here because I think this is roughly how much space I need. Well, I guess we can kind of mark it out. We need 3 blocks wide in between the doors themselves, and we're gonna have one on either side. Of course, we can't really use any regular blocks here around them because it's slime door, so we need to have some immovable blocks, which these blast furnaces are. And now I've just got to continue this checkered pattern across. Then we're just gonna add a little bit of railing because I don't want to fall on down. And we'll learn a bit of an odd one of this. So we'll do 2, 1, and then 2. I think that should work for us. Oh, but then to see our fog effect a little bit more, what if we add in some bars and then we can continue that afterwards, where on top we can just throw in our smooth stone slab just like we have on the outside stairs. Now to start working on the walls, we are actually going to be able to see where I first of all want to figure out a bit more of a detailed design for the supporting pillars. Going with our polished blocks on the side and tough brick in the middle, adding in a little flame to light the walls up. Continuing with this, building it up another 7 times with an arch connecting the pillar on either side up, going down the entire hall to the other end where the main room eventually will lay. Then we need something behind and connecting these, so continuing with the idea of this being mainly carved out from the mountain, using our mountain stone palette for the walls, adding in some open spots bordered with polished tuff. And I've got to say, it's looking really grand in here so far. I've got a really cool idea for these patches, and we'll get back to that in just a little bit. I do, however, quickly want to wrap the roof up. For that, I realized that I didn't have any shears in the wool farm, so I restocked them now, and while I've been building the rest of this, I have another 3 stacks of wool to use, luckily. Going fairly simple, I want a bright roof to give the illusion that the room is bigger than it is, mixing our light grey wool with a bunch of andesite in an arch. I'm really liking how this is coming together, and I want to fill in these final little gaps here where I've got an idea, but once we do that, it's going to get very dark in here, so we need to add in some lighting across the roof, or well, less across the roof, more just the hanging from the roof, where I actually want to create a big chandelier, and this is how I'd like to start it off, and why we got that warped wood earlier. We want to put another layer with our prismarine, then we'll take some fences out of this to make that stick out. And I'm falling. Okay, try that again. We need to add a fence to the end of all of these so that we can add a couple of candles. And then I was thinking we just get a second layer on top of this with even more candles, just making this a really big chandelier here through this room. Then to connect this up to the ceiling, making a bit thicker chain with some nether brick should work, where it might look a little weird here up close, but once we get down, and especially once we cover up the walls and it's not that bright in here, whoa, if you're just walking through, I don't really think you're going to be noticing that all too much. We got to create at least another 2 chandeliers to fill this hall, and it could be cool in the future to create an even bigger one in the main room with the map. Okay, they look sick. I made some slight modifications as I had a lot of lightning rods, and I really like the extended up candles. Makes them look a little more spiky. Not as blobby, if that makes any sense at all. Right now, I think we're at a point where we can patch the sides up. So I'm just going to grab some tuff, and first of all, just dig them all out. Oh, that's looking really good. It's still a little bright over on this end and on that end, but once you get those closed off, I think this is going to be really cool. Now, I have a really fun idea for what we're going to do here on these empty areas, and there's 6 of them, because in this world, I've sort of planned out 6 main kingdoms, at least on the overworld side, where I've already gone ahead and started on the plain civilization. I've got plans to create a mangrove civilization, a desert civilization, all the way out there, an ocean civilization probably out in the water over there, covering a guardian farm and much more. As I've been working on the creative planning of this mountain as well, it's going to go around this, I've also kind of decided that I want a snow civilization in the mountains. So that means creating an entire massive mountain range that's probably going to stretch over to that mountain over there and maybe even further. And then we also found a really cool jungle generation over that side, which would be on the other side of these mountains, for a jungle civilization. And I have a bit of payload with me, which I can use to structure up the shape of a couple of banners hanging through here. And then as we build up these regions in the world and we kind of decide on the colors, we can come back in here and we can change out the payload for an actual banner. Well, a colored banner. For now though, just our plain white, as I don't even know what to do with the plain civilizations banner, adding in a little dark oak trim at the top and extending down a ragged looking banner. Mixed up the design just a little bit. We'll probably mix it up even more as we detail them in the future. And the reason I indented them is 1, to add a bit more depth to the walls, and 2 is because I saw a bunch of banners on Pinterest where they had a base layer and then they had a layer on the outside of that to bring in even more detail, and I thought that was really cool, and that might present some unique opportunities to actually detail these once we get to that. But with the banners in, this kind of entry hall is sort of complete, but other than the entrance itself, because I don't have enough honey blocks. I wonder how many I have now. I really need to expand that farm, but also I'm a little lazy. We're up to 35 and then 6 actually, and if we steal these we can get up to 39. That's still a couple short. Okay, well, we do only need 1 more block to build half the door, so we should be able to find that out in the wild, I'd imagine. 1. 1,000 years later. Okay, I can't find any more. I need one. Right, I guess I'll be productive instead of and let the farm build it up. Instead, grabbing our snow and dirt. Some of those. First, I want to stretch up the right side a bit. Originally, I was thinking of a tower before I decided on the carved out of stone idea, so now I need to fill in the space with the mountain instead. Moving over to the left, I've got to clear away a couple of blocks to make space for the custom mountain, which for now stretched up from the path to a little grass patch above. While the right side doesn't have a tower, the left required a bit more carving, so had the space to bring one in out of the mountain terrain with some exposed copper bars. It's getting a little dark here, but I also added in some exposed copper bars on these windows, and I do like that a lot more. But just bringing this in, the entrance just looks so much bigger now. And while it's very much just a facade right now, I do just want to add in a bit of an overhang above the entrance and start the first couple of layers of snow. Okay, I have to take a step back. I know the mountain is nowhere even near done, but just seeing some of the snow up there, oh, that looks so good. And hopefully, while I've been doing this, we've gotten 3 more. Oh, yes, we have. Still need another 40 honey blocks really to make the other side of the door, but at least they can get one in. Starting off the redstone door, I'm adding in some redstone dust and droppers at the bottom of the pit. Where this is going to be the activation that sends the door back up to the surface. And it's obviously going to sit up top originally, so we need a little bit of a delay to this. And I think the way I have this set up, we should be able to just create a little pulse extender here, because what we essentially want happening is we want to turn this torch off for the duration that the door is open, and when we want to close the door back up, this torch turns back on. So if we add in this little system here, give this a power real quick, that's going to turn this off. Once we unpower that, this is going to be a sort of, well, it's going to be a pulse extender, which is gonna let this power run down, and there it goes, and powers back on. And I can explain this because I understand it. It's I love learning redstone. Actually, it's been a lot of fun. If you remove comparators, the pulse extender gets shorter, and if you add comparators, it gets longer. Running some deep slate from this to have space for redstone, both through the triggers and up to the top of the door to even open it in the first place. Where on the top side, I've added in the same thing with the droppers and redstone above the blast furnaces, which will be the trigger for sending the door down. And I think that we're ready to try and build this door. And this is the part that I currently don't really understand, but I'm going to try my best. Essentially what we do is we have some observers facing down with some sticky pistons on top of that. Wait, I'm in the complete wrong spot. I need the observers looking at the droppers, because when they trigger, the observers get activated. That's what we have the sticky piston above. We can then stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slime blocks, which is the height of our door. Next to this, we'll stack one. Oh, I can't jump on that, can I? Well, next to this, we're going to stack our 5 honey blocks. And the reason we do this is because slime and honey don't move each other, but they work the same way. So this basically allows us to just create individual flying machines, meaning we can move more blocks. And now it's actually fairly straightforward with this one side in, as we just reverse it, having some observers looking down, pistons, and same with the honey and slime, we just reverse it, where we have the honey right here and the slime right next to that. And I think that's a few slime machines. Let's give ourselves a button, and that worked. That definitely worked. And the trigger it again. Okay. Let's get up here. All right, that's my way out, isn't it? Okay, got a door extended in. Let's see, where's the trigger there? Oh, that works. That extends in. I can run in and through, and it extends back up. Oh my god, that's amazing. I can't believe I've designed this myself. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, that's great. Let's wrap up the other side and as much of the second door as possible, just duplicating what I've just made, leaving out the honey and slime blocks from the other side. Then patch up the inside door to make it all look like the one giant door it is. And here on the outside, if we walk up now, I added a calibrated skulk sensor where we can just walk straight in. And taking a look at the opposite side from this hall, it's looking really, really good. This side, however, is, you know, just a little lacking. But hey, I've already spent so much time on this one, and I've got to do one more thing before we end off. Look at this cool door. Oh, we'll just craft a few maps. Maybe 8? Oh, I can't really craft more than 8. Can't even craft 8. Well, there we go. That works. Those are so expensive when you don't have any villagers. Starting off right here, get about that much. Photographer table. Would I have one? Yes. I think I'm gonna want to scale these up once. Right. I'm gonna go around and explore a few of these. One eternity later. Okay, back with my 6 maps, which covers my entire area I've built so far. Let's just duplicate them. First of all, some of these we're gonna just keep as is, and then if I had a glass pane, that looks it. I've actually never really done maps before that much, other than when areas are done, so I usually don't do the locking and everything, but that should work. Put all of this back and let's run over. Door opens up. At some point we'll have a giant world map covering all of my different overworld kingdoms, but that is a future prospect. For now, just some glowstone with item frames and a few maps to cover the small little area of this world that I've touched so far, and I've got to say that's really cool. Just managed to get the tower in there, and we've got the hall here in the middle. We've got the little starting area, the entire road leading over to the fishing village, and this might be a good time to mention that a world download is out for all of my supporters. Every 10 episodes in this series, I will be releasing a new one. And so if you become a supporter, or if you already are a supporter, you can find the link to download it in my Discord. If you still want to see what I've built in this world, I'm uploading a world tour to my second channel, which you can find linked below. But that is all that I have had time for today, and I've done a lot. It might not seem at it at a quick glance, just a bit of terrain and a door, but it doesn't really show all of the digging I've done, not to mention that we got our very first beacon. All that to say that I'm extremely happy with the start of this project. Definitely something we're coming back to, and making a grand hall and the actual Hall of Fame for the stream related stuff. But that is all future plans, and maybe, well, the hall itself is when I actually decide to complete the mountain, which I've started, and I'm really, really excited to actually finish it up. But before I do, I definitely have to, well, get an elytra, get a proper XP farm, and get mending on all my tools. That's all I have time for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.